Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and today's episode, again, another interesting episode about interviews. I've got an interview with more of my friends that from the past, and we would talk about older times, different things about anime, and of course, some of the history that has passed along the way. All right. Before I begin, I'd like to remind people to go down below and click like and click subscribe. Even if you want to leave a comment below about this particular video and some opinions that you have, by all means, that does help the algorithm for YouTube. If you're interested in supporting me financially, I have the links for the super thanks as well as the PayPal and Patreon links below, where you can subscribe and get the special content that I cannot post here on YouTube. Again, there's a list with the link below of all the various different episodes I have for the History of Fan Anime, as well as the extra episodes that are available to the subscribers. And then it covers a lot of the content that, again, just YouTube just won't allow me to talk about. So, all the extra content is there, all right? So, in today's episode, we're going to have an interview with my friend Troy. Now, Troy, lives, quite a ways out from Vancouver, still within what they call the Greater Vancouver Regional District. But it's a fair ways away, a good 45 minutes to an hour out of town by car. We get together once in a while and basically go over different things. In today's interview, we can go talk more about that. Okay, so without further delay, let's begin.
Do you remember the Naruto movie when it first came out, One with the Ice? We went to Colossus in the morning, me and my friends,
Okay.
to go see it. In the morning, okay, from Abbotsford. We drove out and we had white spot for breakfast or whatever it was. But that's how dedicated we were.
Yeah.
You went out, again, and speaking more on a humanity aspect, you went out with your friends to enjoy something similar to that day.
Yeah, a day. Yeah, like it's not just you meet up for something casual like dinner or something. No, we'd spend something to eat, we go to the movie, we do that. We would wander around and the mall or whatever.
Or even going to like the sushi places. We'd have like meetups at sushi places. And people would.
100% that.
And that was the beauty of it. I think that's why I can look back at it fondly, in spite of my own shortcomings and sometimes my own failures and other things. But I can look at this and say that helped build my character. That helped me get through the dark times. That helped me get into a brighter state of mind.
Yes. So Troy talks about a very important part of the interaction between different people and your friends. Okay, so he mentions that when like a movie like the Naruto movie came out in the movie theaters, they made an event of it. You basically got your friends together. You would go not only to see the movie but also enjoy some time together, eating dinner or breakfast or that kind of thing. While you guys are together, then you'd also maybe go to the mall, do some shopping, and look for some cool things at some of the hobby stores or something like that. But it became an event. It became a reason to get together, catch up, and do this kind of humanitarian sort of bonding that you just can't do online just through chat, texting each other. It's just not the same. And I think that's one of the things that we've kind of lost doing. And it's kind of judgmental, but it's just I don't think we're just as sociable as we used to be, just because this convenience of technology in our communication is all great and dandy, but it really in some ways just lacks. So as Troy says, it helps build your character.
So there's been a lot of growth, and I don't care if you're 60, I don't care if you're starting out as 15 or 12. These conventions and anime, if it connects with you and you want to connect with it, you'll have an amazing time. It's not going to be all sunshine and roses.
No, that doesn't. But yeah, I think if we with an open mind and the willingness to
and everything back then was tactile. We're talking about AI. AI is not tactile.
Yes.
When you feel a model kit, a plushie, your favorite anime hoodie or whatever. It's kind of like a badge. Because me and Will right now are wearing our anime shirts, and it's like we're not because we're nerds or geeks, but we're proud of this. We're proud of what it represents for us, and the context of what the meaning is that the author behind the anime, and just using Miyazaki. So when you're wearing a Spirited Away t-shirt, a Mononoke t-shirt, a Totoro t-shirt, you're connecting with that spirit of that anime. You're connecting because it connects with you on a deeper, not just a subconscious level.
So Troy gets into the concept that yes, these conventions that you go to are basically places that a modern person would now go to get that human interaction, right? It's just not that not just talking or if you're over FaceTime or just chatting over email messages or texts like this, is because you can't get some of the the facial expressions, the inner meanings of some of the words, just because we emphasize words a different way. Context is very, very important, obviously, right? And that you can't just get off of written email or text. The other thing that's really important is, as he comments, is tactileness. Like, sometimes in order to be fully immersed in what you're doing, especially if you're doing things like purchases and that kind of stuff, it's very important to feel and touch and get that sort of extra dimension that you would have, as opposed to just staring at a picture on the screen or on Etsy or on eBay or something like that, right? It's just not the same, right? Like, I mean, sure, you could go and look at a DVD on Amazon, but sometimes just holding the DVD cover and just looking at how the cover art reflects, or just has a special effect because it's a moving or a hollow type of design on it, right? Which isn't represented very well in a still picture. But it gives you that sort of feeling of ownership, right? When you have that, you say, okay, it's physical product, right? And again, I know with these these virtual licenses that you get with like Microsoft 365 and whatnot, it doesn't feel like you own anything, right? With all these music services like Spotify and whatnot, you don't own anything. You just they don't promote you buying anything. You just you're just borrowing or licensing the use of the service, and I know some people gravitate toward this, and maybe people are sort of more minimalist in that respect. But I think, as I said, it does a disservice in many ways, just because is that you're missing that added dimension. I don't know. It's just it makes it connect with you a different way when you have all your senses engaged in a different way, right? It activates more parts of the brain, and that's it builds attachment. It builds meaning in that respect. And I think a lot of things that we do nowadays are missing several segments, and that's why things don't seem to resonate or connect, or just have that same sort of effect that it did in the past.
His first anime, I went to get this 20-inch Sailor Venus off, and it was the Sailor V doll first, because I bought the other one second.
Okay, right, okay.
And the story is, I'm looking for Will, and I go up that stairs at SFU because I knew he was part of staff. Somehow I run into Kirby Morrow. I'm Kirby Morrow, I'm a guest. Oh, cool, kind of thing. But it was a different time back then, where, not because I was sneaking in, I had a purpose to go see you, but the staff, were kind and said, here's where he is, and it was just interesting meeting different people and different cosplays.
So that's one neat thing that he mentions, that he's just at random, just going up a staircase, he manages to bump in one of the convention guests, and basically be able to to strike up a conversation, that kind of stuff, with the convention guests. And there was a different time, but I remember when I was going to Anime America to 1994 before I bumped into Kimi Takada going up an elevator because she's going between one of her appearances and that kind of stuff. I didn't actually go into the elevator because obviously she has her convention escort with her at that time. But that's one of the sort of random events that sort of happened. Now, when I was at San Diego Comic-Con twice, not once but twice. When I'm carrying my camera and taking pictures for Vic or for myself, the common thing you do is you basically sometimes you're really close and you need to back up and actually take a picture or something. 2 occasions, I ran into somebody, a famous guest, basically trying to range my camera and not paying attention to where I'm backing up to and actually running into somebody. The first one was when there was this sort of Xena lookalike cosplayers running around the Comic-Con, and I was with Vic. You can pay him like $5 or something like that, or $10, and you can get them to make a pose with you. Like you can pose with them, right? And so Vic came up with this idea. Because he's Xena was one of her favorite shows, and the cosplayer that did Xena was not bad. Okay, in terms of it sort of looked like her. In my opinion, Gabrielle looked better. Okay, then the last chick Aries was didn't look anything like her, but whatever. She was not important. They're setting up the pose, and and the crowd's sort of forming around them, going, okay, this is an interesting sort of thing going on here. But I'm backing up. I'm trying to range the camera to take the shot. As I'm walking backwards, I'm not paying attention behind my back. Right, I'm trying to focus on the viewfinder. And all of a sudden, I bump into this guy, and this kind of short guy, and then all of a sudden, these people sort of grab my shoulder, right? And and then I realized that what I did is I basically backed up into an entourage of people that were walking with Mark Hamill. And so as I'm walking, I kind of literally walked into him, or I guess I was got into his path, and he walked into me. And then again, the security personnel had to stop me, and then basically I kind of went, oh, I'm sorry, right? And didn't realize, okay, I bumped into this guy, and I realized, wow, this guy's he's like, oh my God, it's Mark Hamill. And I realized, wow, he's the first thing that came to my mind was, wow, he's actually pretty short, because I'm 5'10", right, and this guy came up to not even my shoulder, right? So I didn't say anything, just sort of apologized, got out of the way, and then I guess they ushered him off to whatever this panel that he's doing. So I wasn't able to strike up any sort of conversation. Besides, I'm holding a camera, waiting to take this shot. So I ended up taking the shot, and it was all kind of cool there. So that was the first sort of situation. The second situation was going up and down the con. And there's different celebrities that was doing their thing, right? And one of the ones that I was going up and down for was the DC booth or something or whatever. But what they had was Lou Ferrigno, who did The Incredible Hulk. And he was at one of the booths, I guess signing autographs or whatever. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, this is cool. I want to take a picture of this, right? So, again, same thing, pull the camera. I've already walked up to the table, so I'm sort of, too close to him, right? So I'm going to back off a bit. Okay, so I'm backing up in order to range that again. Not paying attention to where I'm backing up to, and just trying to focus on trying to get the image in the viewfinder of the camera here. I suddenly again did the same thing. I backed into somebody accidentally, turned around and said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I realized the person I backed into was George Sakai, which is Mr. Sulu. Oh, I'm sorry. He only had a one-person guide guiding around the con. Wasn't able to strike up a conversation. I just apologized and sort of bowed to him, and he kind of smiled, and then he continued on his way, sort of thing, right? Again, if I had a book or anything that I could do autographs, that kind of stuff, I might have actually asked him for an autograph. But again, trying to concentrate on taking the picture was what I was trying to do, and so that's. Sort of my second story where I kind of ran into somebody.
It was just interesting meeting different people and different cosplays. That on-box concert up at SFU.
Okay. Yeah.
Guy in a kilt sitting with me on the stairs and we're watching on-box. Where were they were singing Born in the USA. And me and this other gentleman were looking at each other, having our lost in translation moment, like Bill Murray going, what F? Yeah. I wasn't there, but you hear about the dormitory parties, or you hear other whether it's funny things or the pizza in the koi pond at SFU. Oh,
What? Okay, I never heard that.
so that was
Yeah,
2007, 2008.
okay.
Some idiot up at the top and threw pizza into the koi pond.
Okay, what a moron. All right.
Yeah.
I remember the one year that they decided instead of using catering services or whatever to take care of the food for the staff and volunteers, they decided to prepare it themselves.
Yeah.
So the story goes is that instead of using more expensive food preparation catering type services, they decided, okay, why don't we just set up one of the rooms and make it into sort of like a kitchen, right? And basically prepare very simple sort of food meals and that kind of stuff. Keep the volunteers and the actual staff on there with the basics, right? So that not people don't have to actually go and buy stuff. Because maybe not all food places were open during the weekend, and so they decided, okay, all right, we'll just do simple things. And so one of the things they decided to make was mac and cheese and some chicken and chicken mac and cheese, right? They called it the chicken surprise. It worked pretty well for I think Friday and about most of through Saturday. I remember about midway through, they ran out of chicken, but they just sort of kept going, right? And so I remember I had to take some take out boxes of stuff to the dealer's room to give to the guys for lunch in the dealer's room. And I remember one of the guys that we went to was my friend Paul. We're relieving him from his lunch break there and his little shift there while he's in the dealer's room. I gave him his lunch box and he goes, okay, well, okay. So he was super hungry because again he's been on shift all morning, and this is sort of the first sort of break and something that he can actually eat some food. So he starts eating this thing down. And he's about a third, maybe halfway through, and he goes, is this the same as we had yesterday? And he goes, yeah, the chicken surprise. And he goes, yeah, isn't it? I don't taste any chicken. And I went, surprise! So yeah, there's his chicken surprise. Sans the chicken. Okay, so I hope you found that really interesting. And I always find it really interesting, to go and talk to some of the old people because they always bring up stories that I sort of sometimes forget, or I don't quite have the exact wording sometimes because I don't want to say something in regards to in about someone's story. When they can say it properly themselves, because I might get some details wrong or whatever. So it's always better that you get the information straight from them, as well as it's they always have some different perspective that maybe I just kind of forgot about, because so much time has passed. Sometimes I tend to forget them. So it's always good to to have a good conversation about that. Again, I will be doing more of them, so stay tuned for that. All right. So until next time, I will see you again.